against Alex Pereira, which is very impressive because Alex Pereira will be the first person to ever compete for 3 different titles, 3 different weight classes, which is just, it is insane. I mean, the success that this guy's had is phenomenal.
But Pereira should win this one, I think. Chewing up the leg, landing shots upstairs afterwards. And this is a wicked fight. Winner will take on Tom Aspinall for the belt. And that's an amazing future fight as well.
Gain on Proton, bro. I think it'll be a fun fight. I think Gain shoots on Proton, though. A lot of people think it's just going to be kickboxing, but I think Gain might try and switch it up for him. Like how Francis Ngannou did to Gain. Tripped him out. Confused him a little, you know?
Pereira, Gan fight. If obviously Pereira wins, you all good with that?
Mate, I'm happy with any of them. There's still a bit of unfinished business there with me and Gan, so if Pereira wins, fight Pereira first, fight Gan next. I'm going to fight the winner of that.
Alex Pereira is about to attempt the impossible. He is stepping into the octagon to chase a 3rd world title in a 3rd different weight class. A feat so legendary it sounds like a video game achievement. The combat sports world is reeling because this isn't just another fight. It is a high-stakes gamble at the highest level of the sport. MMA pros are coming out of the woodwork to guarantee that what happens next will change the history books forever. We are witnessing the birth of a triple champion legacy that might never be repeated again in our lifetime. The tension is thick, the stakes are astronomical, and the fallout is going to be massive for everyone involved.
They have to make do with what they have. They would have loved to have Jones on there, but I hope Alex wins. That's crazy. Like 3 times, yeah. Gon's no joke, and Gon can dance around him. Gon's slick to knock him out as well. But I think Alex can knock him out too.
The announcement of the White House card has sent shockwaves through the heavyweight division, but not everyone is convinced it is the right move. While Poatan prepares to face the elusive Cyril Gane for the interim belt, the shadow of the undisputed champion looms large. This isn't just about a belt, it is about the UFC trying to save a division that many insiders claim is currently on its arse. With history on the line, the pressure on Pereira to deliver is unlike anything he has faced before. If he wins, he becomes the ultimate unicorn of mixed martial arts, but the path to that glory is blocked by a man who moves like a middleweight in a giant's body.
I don't think he gets past Cyril Gane. I think that weight is real. You know, Cyril Gane, he's a stick and move guy. Could he 100%. Anybody, in particularly in that division. Okay. But nobody has really finished Cyril Gane, bro, and his movements is very problematic. I just don't see any wrestling from him, which Pereira could have some. But the Duke and Thump, dude, and I will say this too, Pereira also does get hit Kamaru. Now, can you take a heavyweight's punch? Look at that little highlight that a little practice that they had with that big Cuban. The Cuban was bigger than him, heavier than him. Dude, he was popping off on the dude that got cut by the UFC. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is size does matter.
Israel Adesanya has seen the power of Alex Pereira up close more than almost anyone on the planet, and his take on this matchup is chilling. The last stylebender is expressing massive confidence that Pereira can overcome the size disadvantage and put Cyril Gane to sleep. Adesanya points to that signature, world-ending power as the ultimate equalizer that will negate Gane's beautiful, elusive movement. Even though Gane is known for dancing around his opponents and making them look slow, Adesanya believes one clean shot from the Brazilian will end the night. It is a bold guarantee from a man who has felt that left hook himself and knows exactly how it changes a man's life.
Listen, it's a fantastic fight. You are right, Henry. Cyril Gane is no slouch. Like, you're not just finna, and we say that Cyril Gane made some improvements when he was fighting Tom Aspinall. We saw how that fight was starting to look. I'm not counting anyone out here. I'm not counting Alex Pereira out here because Alex Pereira does have the power to really change things. And listen, he is definitely, your confidence is at his all-time high. Listen, no one can tell you anything about your abilities and what you can or can't do. Because if that was the case, then we felt this way when Alex Pereira said he was wanting to go to light heavyweight. We felt this way. We don't know how he would do. Now he dominated that weight class. So I'm not going to feel that way about him going to heavyweight, especially when that heavyweight division right now is kind of struggling with the depth in the talent that they have. So I think this is a good thing for that heavyweight division to throw Alex Pereira in the mix there.
However, not every pro is sold on the Pereira hype train moving up to the land of the giants. Henry Cejudo is sounding the alarm, questioning whether Poatan can actually handle the massive jump in physical size against a true heavyweight like Gane. Triple C explained that Gane's stick and move style is a nightmare for anyone, especially someone who tends to absorb shots to land their own. Cejudo pointed out that very few fighters have ever managed to actually finish Gane, and the size difference alone could become a catastrophic factor. For Cejudo, the danger level for Pereira is at an all-time high because a heavyweight punch is a completely different beast than what he felt at 205.
You obviously thought it was going to be Jon Jones, and now Gane's got that fight. Do you feel like he's almost been rewarded a bit for what's happened, or?
I mean, who else is going to fight though? The division's on its ass. So there's not many big fights to make, is there? So got to do what they got to do. Right. Just took in the information. Ciryl Gane, Alex Pereira. Obviously, I'm going to fight the winner of that. So just waiting now to be given the green light, the all clear from the doctors to start training properly again. As soon as we can start training properly again, full contact in the gym, we will be getting a fight date booked to fight the winner. So just waiting for the clearance to be medically cleared now, and then we go.
So it's a case of you guys contacting the UFC and just giving them...
Exactly, as soon as the doctor clears me, we'll let the UFC know, and we'll be looking to book a fight as soon as possible.
The technical breakdown of this fight is a chess match between two elite strikers who operate on completely different frequencies. Ciryl Gane is a master of distance, a fighter who uses his footwork to keep his opponents confused and frustrated. But MMA experts are noting that Pereira has a unique ability to cut off the cage and trap even the most mobile targets. The concern for Gane is that he hasn't faced a striker with the sheer technical pedigree and kickboxing accolades that Pereira brings to the table. If Pereira can start chewing up Gane's lead leg early, that famous movement might vanish, leaving the Frenchman a sitting duck for the power shots that are surely coming his way.
Ridiculously talented strikers, and of course Pereira fighting for a third belt. That is just insane. And the undisputed heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall, I gotta say, I really respect his response. He basically came out, he didn't talk shit, he wasn't complaining, he didn't say, oh, why is Ciryl Gane getting rewarded for poking him in the eye and getting to fight at the White House and for an interim belt? He didn't say that at all. He took it all in his stride. He said, well, you know what, to be fair, the heavyweight division, it's kind of lacking right now, or on its arse or something like that. Who else are you going to do? This is the fight that makes sense, and of course he gets to fight the winner.
Kamaru Usman is also weighing in, acknowledging that while Gane is no slouch, the momentum behind Alex Pereira is almost impossible to ignore. Usman noted that Pereira's confidence is currently at an all-time high, which makes him a terrifying opponent for anyone. He reminded fans that we all had these same doubts when Alex moved from middleweight to light heavyweight, yet he went up there and dominated the division with ease. Usman sees Pereira's presence as a massive boost for a heavyweight division that is currently struggling with talent depth. To him, throwing a wild card like Potan into the mix is exactly what the fans and the promotion need to spark some real excitement.
Alex Pereira will be the first person to ever compete for 3 different titles. 3 different weight classes, which is just, it is insane. I mean, the success that this guy's had is phenomenal. And we're going to talk about this matchup. So Ciryl Gane versus Gane, pardon me. Ciryl Gane versus, oh, I've got to adjust my contact lens because sometimes everything goes a bit blurry and I can't see shit. There we go. Yeah, so Ciryl Gane versus Alex Pereira, 2 great strikers. And I'll say this, it's a better fight than Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira, and I'll explain why, right? Of course, magnitude, star power, legendary names, resumes. Yeah, that's what Jon Jones brings. Also what Alex Pereira brings, to be fair. But I've said this a million times, so this won't be a shock. There would have been a really good chance that Jon Jones would have just taken down Alex Pereira. Pardon me, it's early.
While the world watches Pereira and Gane, the man many consider the real king of the heavyweights is sitting in the wings. Tom Aspinall has made it very clear that his entire focus is locked on the winner of this massive showdown. He is not interested in the drama or the politics. He just wants the fight that settles the score once and for all. Aspinall explained that everything now depends on him receiving full medical clearance so he can return to the gym and start the grind of full contact training. Once the doctors give him the green light, he plans to coordinate with the UFC to lock in a date to face whoever leaves the White House card with that interim strap wrapped around their waist.
Absolutely amazing. I'm leaning towards Alex Pereira here to get it done against Ciryl Gane. I think he's going to be too much on the front foot, track the cage. I don't think Ciryl Gane's going to be used to a guy with the skill level of Alex Pereira. He's never fought someone with that ability in his life. And Volkov has good technical ability on the feet, and he beat Ciryl Gane in their last fight and did very well on the feet against him as well. So when he finds someone who can really cut off the cage like Pereira and really punish him, Gane hasn't got the first round finish ability that Aspinall does to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira. He also doesn't really have the offensive wrestling game to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira either.
The respect Aspinall is showing in this situation has caught the attention of legends like Michael Bisping. The Count praised Aspinall for how he handled the situation, noting that the undisputed heavyweight champion avoided complaining about being sidelined. Instead of talking trash or claiming he was being disrespected, Aspinall calmly accepted the circumstances and recognized that the division needs big fights to stay relevant. Bisping believes this level of professionalism makes Aspinall even more dangerous because he is focused on the task rather than the noise. It is a rare sight in a sport often dominated by egos and social media rants, and it sets the stage for a massive unification.
He could get it done. He has good backwards movement. He floats around well on the back foot. He does it better than Jamal Hill. If we're being honest, Gane is one of the rare heavyweights that actually really does have a good technical base for the heavyweight division. He just lacks that KO power and lacks that ability to just nuke someone in the first 2 minutes. He's never really been able to do it throughout his entire career. And I would, off the top of my head, I can't think of a time that Gane has got a first 2 minute of the fight finish like a guy like Aspinall or Ngannou has. But Pereira should win this one, I think. Chewing up the leg, landing shots upstairs afterwards. And this is a wicked fight. Winner will take on Tom Aspinall for the belt. And that's an amazing future fight as well.
Bisping also dropped a bombshell by suggesting that Pereira versus Gane is actually a better stylistic fight than Pereira versus Jon Jones would have been. While Jones brings legendary star power and a resume that is unmatched, Bisping argues that the matchup would likely have turned into a wrestling clinic. Jones would have used his grappling to neutralize Pereira's striking, potentially making for a one-sided affair. But with Gane, we get a clash of two high-level strikers who are willing to stand and trade. It is a purist's dream and a fight that guarantees fireworks from the opening bell, which is exactly why the hype for this specific matchup is reaching a fever pitch.
I feel like they missed the mark not only with adding Ciryl Gane, and that feels like a last-minute replacement to me, but the fact that they are diminishing the ability for Alex Pereira to win a true, undisputed third belt in the UFC. If he wins that belt, he's only an interim, so it's like winning 2.5 belts because it's not truly the undisputed. And to me, it felt like the biggest thing they could have done on the White House card. Look, forget Conor McGregor. Let's just take him off the board. If they would have put Ilya and Islam together, you'd have somebody going for triple belt status. And then you also have Alex Pereira going up to fight Jon Jones, triple belt status. Those could potentially be undisputed. We could figure out a way. But to me, this feels like a big letdown because, look, I'm not mad at the main event. I want Justin Gaethje to get his fair shot. And I think it's good that Ilya Topuria defends his belt before he moves up. But when you're talking about how they sold this fight and how they've been promising all this stuff, it felt like they were going to have to bring, you know, I'm going to date myself a little bit. They were going to bring Rumble Johnson back from the dead to fight on this card, you know?
Yeah, Rumble versus Kimbo Slice. I mean, that's the way that they were talking about it.
But there is a darker side to this story that involves the man who was supposed to headline the biggest cards of the year. Jon Jones has been noticeably absent, and the rumors are starting to get ugly. Some insiders believe the UFC missed the mark by not including Jones on the White House card, especially given his legacy. The fact that the promotion opted for an interim title fight instead of an undisputed defense has left many fans feeling like they were sold a bill of goods. It feels like a last-minute replacement to some, a way to keep the wheels turning while the real champion sits on the sidelines dealing with issues that the public is only just starting to understand. The financial aspect of this drama is where things get truly complicated. Ariel Helwani has pointed out that a fighter of Jon Jones' stature has every reason to be frustrated with the current state of pay. In a market where some fighters are commanding massive paydays for crossover events, Jones believes he is worth at least $30 million. When you look at his drawing power and his decade-long dominance, it is hard to argue with his logic. If the ceiling for a star like Conor McGregor is $75 million, then Jones feels that his resume justifies a massive jump in his current earnings. He knows his worth, and he is clearly not willing to settle for less.
In my opinion, Jon Jones is worth $30 million. If Conor Benn, with all due respect, is getting 15 to fight Regis Prograis in a catchweight fight, Jon Jones is worth 30, and Conor McGregor is worth 75. If that's the market value now, if that's the ceiling, then them dudes are worth a hell of a lot now, and because of everything they did over the past 10 years or so. Like, Conor Benn, Jon Jones ain't the same as far as drawing power, I'm sorry, and as far as resumes. So what they've done now is, that's the new number. Because all these fighters, the top ones, are saying, wait a second, and they're saying, yeah, you can have that number too. But the problem is,
this pay dispute is creating a massive ripple effect throughout the entire roster. Top stars understand their influence, and they are no longer willing to accept offers that they feel undervalue their impact on the sport's revenue. Helwani noted that these fighters are not fools. They see the numbers coming in and they know exactly how much they bring to the table. When the UFC tries to lowball a legend like Jones, it sends a message to everyone else that their legacy might not be enough to secure the bag they deserve. This standoff is about more than just one fight. It is about the future of how the biggest names in MMA are compensated for their risks.
so I think they took these guys for fools or something like that. Because I can guarantee you they're going to come with that number to Conor McGregor and he's going to be like, what? Are you kidding? I could almost tell, I'm not even in the meeting and I can tell you this is going to happen. I mean, I think Conor Benn himself would agree with me. Would he not? Just in terms of what they've done and who they are and their track record and drawing power.
Tom Aspinall himself expressed surprise at the financial rumors, wondering why the UFC wouldn't just pay the man what he is worth. He noted that athletes who have spent years headlining major events and driving the sport's growth should be properly rewarded at the end of their careers. For Aspinall, it is hard to comprehend why a $30 million offer would be on the table one day and gone the next. He believes that guys like Jones and McGregor are the ones who built the house, and they should be getting the biggest rooms. It is a refreshing take from a younger fighter who recognizes that the giants who came before him paved the way for his own success.
Wow. Well, my reaction to that, and this is going to probably be crazy to a lot of people listening, but why is the UFC not giving Jon the respect he deserves financially? That's crazy to me. Well, if anyone should be getting paid a lot in this sport, it should be Jon Jones for the stuff that he's done, and that's me. That's me saying that.
Yeah.
After the history that I've had with Jon Jones.
Are you surprised they're not giving it to him?
Well, they offered him 30 million to fight me, so why have they not offered it again? I don't understand.
And you're probably a $25 million fighter.
I would hope so, but those guys who we're talking about, Conor McGregor and Jon Jones and guys like that, like they bring in the other guy. Those are the guys who brought in the revenue for over 10 years. They need to be getting paid what they deserve, in my opinion. I think the guys need to get their money ready for my fight. If we're talking about 25 million, I think
that was my idea.
25 mil. Get it ready. Because I'm ready to get that.
While the money talk continues, Chael Sonnen is looking at a much more somber reality regarding Jon Jones. The bad guy pointed out that Jones is dealing with significant physical challenges that most people aren't talking about. At 37 or 38 years old, the years of combat have taken a massive toll on his body. Sonnen mentioned reports of arthritis and hip problems that make it difficult for Jones to compete at the level he once did. It is a tough spot for a legend who wants to go out on top but finds his own body betraying him. If these physical issues are as bad as rumored, the financial demands might just be a smokescreen for a deeper struggle.
And when you're Jon Jones and you're 37, you're 38 years old, and you're coming out and you're saying, like, I can't do this, and I've got arthritis, and I got these problems in my hips, and it's just a tough spot. And I feel for him. He wanted on the White House card. To our knowledge that we've been given, and I understand that things are kept, but from our knowledge, that was all that he asked for. He did not come in with some $30 million price tag or something ridiculous, and I imagine there was a little bit of a pain in the behind the scenes, but he had still made an ask, and he's doing a number of great things. And a guy that he smoked in 4 minutes got the opportunity. I mean, I could feel for Jon in that spot.
Sonnen also highlighted the emotional sting of seeing the White House card move forward without the champion. Imagine being Jon Jones and watching a fighter you dismantled in just 4 minutes get the opportunity to headline a historic event in your place. It is a bitter pill to swallow for someone with such a massive ego and a drive to be the best. Sonnen explained that Jones likely just wanted a spot on that card to cement his legacy, and being denied that opportunity might have been the final straw. It is a complicated situation where pride, health, and money are all colliding at once, leaving the future of the GOAT in total limbo.
It's a lot more complicated than you might think. Then are you going to tell me you're not going to put him in the interim? Like, does that sound right to you? Jon Jones fighting for the interim championship. Does that sound right to you? No, I don't think that you'd have done that. And you could have packaged it. You could have sold it so it's an interim title because Tom's out, and then that's good. We've got a guarantee that we got a 2-fight deal, and Jon's guaranteeing us that he's going to go into Tom. I mean, it's one of these tough things. Look, if Jon's demands were not met, and by the way, I don't take a pleasure in this. I got to tell you, I'm not being my usual self. I come to you quite the opposite. But here's the cold hard truth: if Jon Jones's demands are not being met for the biggest fight in history, they're not going to be met for the non-biggest fight in history.
The most shocking revelation from Sonnen was his interpretation of these events as a sign that Jon Jones is essentially retired. He argued that if Jones couldn't secure a title fight on what was supposed to be the biggest show in history, he isn't going to get one on a smaller event later. For a fighter of his greatness, this is a tragic way to walk away from the sport. It isn't the grand farewell with a packed arena and a final knockout. It is a quiet fade out into the background while the world moves on to new stars like Pereira and Aspinall. If the evidence holds up, we may have already seen the last of Bones in the cage.
If Jon Jones could not get a title fight on the biggest show in history, he's not going to get a title shot on a different show in history. If Jon Jones could not get the main event, he's not going to get it on a different event. And for his greatness, that's tough. I don't think this is the way that he wants to go out. I don't think this is the way that he wants to retire. But there's simply, with the evidence that we have, there's no other way to interpret this than Jon Jones.
Despite the drama surrounding Jones, the MMA guru believes the fight between Pereira and Gane is an incredible striking battle that fans should be ecstatic about. He is leaning toward Pereira to get the job done, citing his ability to stay on the front foot and track his opponents against the cage. In his view, Gane has never faced someone with the pure technical skill level of Potin. While Gane has looked good against other heavyweights, those men didn't have the kickboxing mastery that Pereira brings. The guru believes that once the Brazilian starts dictating the pace, Gane will find himself in deep water without any of the tools needed to swim back to safety.
Is retired.
So that's all we have from today's video, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos.
A key factor in this breakdown is Gane's lack of a finishing threat in the early rounds. Unlike someone like Aspinall, who can end a fight in 60 seconds, Gane tends to be a point fighter who builds his lead over time. MMA experts point out that this is a dangerous game to play with Pereira, who only needs one opening to change the entire complexion of the fight. Furthermore, Gane lacks the offensive wrestling game that has traditionally been the blueprint for beating Pereira. Without the threat of a takedown, Pereira is free to unload his entire arsenal of strikes, and that is a terrifying prospect for anyone standing across from him in that octagon. The comparison to the Volkov fight is also making waves in the community. Volkov was able to use his technical ability to stay competitive and even win rounds against Gane on the feet. If a fighter like Volkov can find success, what can a world-class kickboxing champion like Pereira do? The consensus among many pros is that Pereira is simply a more refined version of what Gane tries to be. He has the movement, he has the timing, but most importantly, he has the power that Gane lacks. If this turns into a pure technical striking match, the odds start to tilt heavily in favor of the man from Brazil making history yet again. However, Nick Barnhill argues that the UFC missed a massive opportunity to make this night truly historic. He believes that by making this an interim title fight, they diminished Pereira's potential achievement. Instead of becoming a true undisputed 3-weight champion, he will essentially be holding a 2.5 belt status. Barnhill suggested that the promotion should have gone all out, perhaps matching Topuria against Islam Makhachev or ensuring Jones was on the card. To him, the White House event felt like it was missing that one legendary spark that would have elevated it from a good show to an unforgettable piece of sporting history that people would talk about for decades. The idea of Pereira winning a fake belt is a sticking point for many purists. While the achievement of winning in 3 divisions is still insane, the asterisk of it being an interim title hangs over the conversation. But for Pereira, this might be the only way to force the hand of the division. If he holds the interim strap, the UFC almost has to make the Aspinall fight, or strip Jones if he refuses to return. It is a tactical move that puts the Brazilian in the driver's seat of the heavyweight narrative. Whether it is undisputed or not, the world will recognize him as a man who conquered 3 different realms of the fight world. As the date for the White House card approaches, the tension is reaching a breaking point. We are looking at a collision between the old guard and the new era, between legacy and the future. Cyril Gane has the chance to prove he is more than just a gatekeeper for the elite, while Alex Pereira is chasing a level of greatness that very few human beings have ever even dreamed of. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the guarantees from the pros are split down the middle. This is the kind of drama that makes mixed martial arts the most unpredictable and exciting sport in the world, and we are just days away from seeing it all unfold. Ultimately, the fallout from Pereira versus Gane will redefine the heavyweight landscape forever. If Poatan secures the finish, he becomes the biggest star in the sport and sets up a mega fight with Tom Aspinall that could sell out any stadium in the world. If Gane wins, he finally silences the doubters and reclaims his spot at the top of the mountain. And in the background, the mystery of Jon Jones continues to haunt the division, a ghost of a champion whose time may have finally run out. One thing is certain, after the White House card is over, the UFC will never be the same again, and a new king will be crowned.